outside?
Oh, this right here, 'cause it's lighter in here.
I called them twice.
All these. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Doing great.
Great. How are you?
Good, good. What we got here? Let's see. Holden, how you doing, man?
Great. Nice to see you. Sorry I missed last week.
No, you know what? You didn't miss last week because I missed last week.
It's all
We-
good.
We do ours, we do ZOE every other week, but we do this one every week.
Oh, okay.
So I do a personal one every week, but it's most of the same people.
Okay.
But yeah, we missed last week, but glad to have you regardless here.
Thanks for having me.
Where are you coming from? Are you from in Los Angeles?
No, I'm from Northern California. I'm in Hillsborough.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, about an hour and a half north of San Francisco.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Michael.
How you doing?
I want to say this to everyone. Like, I know some maybe you know, but I want to say a big shout out to you and Portia
What's that?
for give me this.
Oh, your little gift? That's Portia. Portia's
I know, but she sent me
We're all
this.
so proud of you, Crystal.
no, I'm saying I know that. This is the group's proud of you, but that the making of that stuff is this talent in the middle here. She just uses that with her hands. She makes that stuff.
Portia, are you serious? But anyways, I got it.
Talents. Isn't that
I got-
beautiful?
Yeah, I got the food. I was supposed to be wearing this like yesterday, but I dropped it on the side of my bed, but I found it now.
Sometimes you need to.
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
What's up, Jason?
Right.
Hey,
I'm doing good. How about you?
I heard a little birdie told me that you coming to the conference. Michael, this is true.
Yeah. I will be there and I will be serving.
Oh, not happening. This is not happening.
Hi,
I
guys.
to the conference too.
I know. It's gonna be amazing.
And guess what?
Chicken.
I'm
dip.
also serving too. Both it's both days.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh
That's
my
what I'm talking
god.
about.
Okay, I go and see you in first time in person. Also Portia. I don't know.
It's gonna be
What
fun.
you told me about you coming to the conference? That little birdie?
Ooh,
Crystal, tell them how you're not part of our rally group anymore.
Well, I told Morano that I am no longer serving the welcome team and not the online team. Sorry, twisted my mouth for a minute because I was having headaches and for a couple of weeks. But I'm no longer the online team anymore. I'm doing the welcome team in ZOE.
beautiful. Transitioning. I like it. As long as you're not leaving for no reason, transitioning.
Yep.
listen, listen,
Anyways, we talk about the message yesterday. It's so real yesterday that
Yeah.
Pastor Chad said to everyone yesterday about the lies and stuff like that.
I'm going to, because we have a lot of people on tonight, some things, more people are coming in. I'm gonna mute everybody. And then literally just use the digital hand and I'll unmute you if you want to talk, but because there's so many people, I'm gonna mute everybody. Everybody say hello to Holden, new this week. Holden, this is the group. Also, Lauren, I think is new, no?
Hey, Holden.
Hello.
We got a couple newbies here. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Holden.
Coming up.
Glad to meet you and everything. Welcome to Michael's Scoop. So yeah.
Jason, I like the room you're in tonight. You're always changing it up. Who needs skins when you have real eclectic life? Like,
All right.
All right.
All right.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's get started. I'm gonna mute everybody. Like I said, just there's a digital hand somewhere on your phone or computer, and you can raise anytime you want. We'll break to chat. But as you know, like we do every other week for ZOE, and we've been doing real, raw, and flawed the opposite week. So we're every week doing this. Last week was a rare moment for me. It was a tough moment for me to have missed hosting. I was literally in the middle of traveling, taking flights from place to place. So I just could not get on in time for last Monday. So I want to apologize for that. I hate missing these and I hate not being there for you guys and showing up, but it's a rare occasion, but I'm glad it was our kind of our off week. It was a real, raw, and flawed, and we didn't miss ZOE because I think these are important to talk about the message. So, but in missing it, this is why I know God has a divine plan always, all the time. I was feeling heavy in the heart for missing it and traveling and not planning well to be somewhere so I can get on the computer with you guys. The beginning of the story is gonna sound hard, but it's because I truly believe in his work and what he's doing. And, it really resonates with this message of, don't believe the lie. Like literally we're being lied to all the time as a test to see where we are in our strength and our faith, where we are in our strength, is our regular life and the whole nine. We're literally being tested all the time. And one of the best things I've ever heard, and I don't know where I heard it because that's all I do is just listen to stuff, but it went something like, sometimes you got to check yourself, because if the devil's not testing you and you don't feel his presence, it's because he's already got you and he's on to the next one. So sometimes it's not if his absence, or you think it's absence, you think it's not there, is because he's already got his hands on you and you're going down the wrong path. And sometimes just check in with that. Check in with what your life is really doing. Are you bringing peace to your own life? Are you bringing service to others? Where are you really at? Because he doesn't show up in just the hard times. He doesn't show up in just the things we talk about we think are bad for us, our expectations that have not been met. It's not always those. It's not the most obvious. He shows up in the most unobvious ways. And sometimes he's buried into your life and winning. So always check in with that. Sometimes when the absence of him means he has a hold of you, or the absence you think of him means he has a hold of you. And he's like, okay, I got Mike. That's good. I'm not gonna be over here making real havoc. I already got him. I'm gonna move on to somebody that's in the piece, that's in the thing. So that's one. Two, during my journey traveling around, me missing that, I was supposed to fly home on Wednesday, and I got some pretty bad news about my ex-business partner, who was a mentor to me, older gentleman, played a father figure in my life, had passed away. And so I changed my flight immediately and went back to Phoenix and had to go to his funeral services, which was devastating. It was probably the hardest thing I've had to do since I lost my parents. But was harder on me was I had written him a letter. I haven't talked to him in a while. I had written him a letter, and I wanted to, when I went back out west, I was going to hand deliver it to him. And I wanted to clear up some stuff about our relationship in the past. And he's just been so good to me and all these things. And I wanted to do that because I've been working on it for a while. And I felt like I really missed the opportunity. And I felt in the moment a bit of failure because I felt like that I wasn't walking my own talk in that moment, because I always talk about, make sure you tell people, make sure your intention is good. Make sure when you want to say something to somebody, say it, because you might not have the opportunity. And that happened a couple of times. It happened when my dad died. It happened when my mother died. There's unsaid things for me. And watching several people go in my life, I thought in the moment losing him, I thought, holy cow, how could I possibly have missed that? How could I have possibly been speaking this truth and talking the talks we've had and listening to the message and leaning into the stuff we always talk about every week, and miss something so clear that's to my heart. It's like, don't not. And it happened. So in that moment, it felt so heavy on my heart to like, wow, I'm still like in the middle of massive work. If I missed that so obvious, it wasn't a mistake I made in a day and forgot to be nice to somebody, or it was major. That's a major thing for me. But why I share the story with you is because the service was unbelievable. So many people got up and talked. It was longer than any funeral service I've ever been to. And it led right into this message this week, and no coincidence, like we always talk about. It led right into the thing that it'll lie to you. These things will lie to you. They won't tell you the truth. And what was being lied to me was that I did something wrong, that he somehow missed out or would be upset with me, or I wouldn't be good enough, or I felt shame of not showing him all of me in that way. And it's just not true. And being there, I realized that I wasn't singular in that moment. So many people talked, and it mirrored, so many people mirrored exactly how this dude stood up for me, exactly how he pushed me into positions where I didn't think I was good enough to be. Saw parts of me that I didn't know that were there. Like, that was his brilliance. But like, listen to everybody talk. He did that to so many people. And there were so many epic stories. It was an incredible service, like the most empowering death I've been a part of. And it was because it was sharing in so many people that he had touched in the same exact way I was feeling. It was incredible. And what I knew right there when I left was all those feelings that came into there, flying in there, it was the devil lying to me. He was trying to capture my heart. He was trying to steal it from the true meaning of what that relationship was and what has been done for me, what I did for him. He tried to capture that and steal it. And he almost did, if I wasn't paying attention. So in the moment of shame, in the moment, I felt like, man, maybe I'm not growing. Maybe I'm not walking my walk. In that moment, when it was done, I just realized, no. I'm more so walking my walk, because I just, in the moment of being there, realized and recognized that was happening, that it was trying to be happening. Something was trying to grab me. The devil was trying to steal from me and tell me a lie about that situation. And it's just not true. And listening to everybody else in that moment was like, holy cow, what a legacy to live, when story after story was truly about the person was in a space where they didn't believe in themselves. And his name is Dave. Dave came along and just witnessed people, witnessed them and looked at him and said, look, you are more than you're letting yourself be. I want to be part of that. And he had that conversation with me, and I thought it was with me. It was with tons of people in the room. A gentleman that I'm very close with, that's a very successful human being, celebrity status, like successful, broke down. And he known him less time than I had. And he broke down and talked about a story of he taught me how to become a better man. And it blew my mind, because I thought that guy was already in that position, because I looked up to this other guy too. So I don't want to ramble too much about that situation, because I want to talk about the message too, but I think we have to keep our eyes open all the time because rejecting the lie is super important. That is really the point where you have to be aware of when you're being lied to. Right? Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I forgot, Jason. I forgot. You don't know how to do digital hand. Go ahead. You do physical hand. Go ahead. You have to hold on. You have to unmute it. You have to unmute. You got it? Unmute. One of these days you're gonna figure out that phone, bro. You got it?
Jason, touch your face. Touch your face. There you go. And then it'll say mute video. Unmute.
All right. Well,
I
there
will
we
say
go.
my-
There we go.
there you go.
Okay. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say you just hit home right there. I'm glad you mentioned that. Me and my dad had some orders the other day. He's been real grumpy, and I said a whole bunch of crap, and I ain't talked to him in a week. And thanks, Michael. I'm heading down there right now. So I just want to appreciate that. And
You're amazing.
So-
I was just gonna ask you why you got in your car. I love you.
yeah,
Great.
I'm heading to my dad's right now. So I'm going to take my face off.
Amazing.
Thanks. You just hit home.
All right. Good. I'm glad to hear that. That's amazing. Look, this is what it's about. Let's finish that thought and I'll come to you, Crystal. I think the most important thing and the message that Chad was speaking of rejecting the lie that is told to us is, every single day we get put in positions that we think we're at fault for. And like we talk about all the time, it's usually our expectation that sets that failure up, what we expect out of our life and what we expect out of a situation, a relationship, an idea. And when it doesn't work out, we take the heat right here in our heart. We think that we're the failure. We think we're the ones that why it didn't go wrong. We take a lot of that brunt right here in our heart. And we really feel that we're responsible in some way for a failure. And that's just not the truth. That's when you're being lied to. That's when you're trying to be taken. The people that do the worst work, the devil or just people on this planet that are walking, do the worst work are the most convincing. That's their art. That's their craft. They want to convince you to get in the van. They want to convince you to eat the candy when you're a little kid. All the things we were told by our parents don't do, like, don't eat candy or check it when you get home after Halloween or don't get in that van. Like all the funny kind of things we laugh about now, it's the metaphor rings true because the most convincing people are the devil. It's the devil and the workings. They have to be the most convincing to get you on the other side, right? It's a sales move. So when we're in those moments, it's not our failure. It's a failure that's happening in the world. We happen to be a part of it. But if you let it connect to your heart and you take it on as yours, that's when he starts winning. Because he starts taking you over and he tries to test your faith, your confidence in the person you believe in, the God that created you and the plan he has for you. He starts to test that, and then once he's got you, it becomes easy to walk that path. And that's why I say always check in and make sure that you're not feel like you're not being tested anymore, because maybe he already got you and you're just walking in the wrong direction. So always be checking it. Crystal, shoot.
Okay. I heard her say you shoot. I was like, okay. But now, yeah.
All right.
But I love that I got to pull it up the stuff yesterday about each thing. I watched it because I being to the church. So but I love Pastor Chad saying one of the second one hit me, like not the second one, the third one hit me, saying my heart is salvation are too dark and with God's giving involved, because my life was so dark. I told this many times in my story. I was doing bad things in my life and I was like, I thought it was a lie. But like I heard lies all the time, and I was doing like steroids, I was popping pills, I was drinking, I was in high school. And I was like, I'm not telling my grandparents or my sister or anyone knowing about my issue because of like of me, like I was like try like hoping this is not life for me. This is like God like tell me please I need this. But God's like give me a good reason why that we and hearing about like a lot of lies. Like like everything else. But like so recently I just want to feel like God's like giving me a good reason why we not stop lying anymore. We know lying is not on sin thing because if you are sinned and everything else, like God's not giving you a second chance to believe in yourself. Like my what you do, God like giving you a good reason why I know of. But like yeah, God's like, give me a Michael, let me finish. So but God's like give me a good reasons why like we stay in our faith forever. Like like we talk about like Pastor Chad talked about this like yesterday and through his message, and oh my God, I feel really good,
Good.
with him and him. But like
Good.
yeah, like darkness, yeah, a lot of things forever. But anyways, Michael, go ahead.
That brings up a good point about the intention of lie. It talks about the intention of lie as well this week. And why does somebody lie, or why do we get lied to, or why are we lying? And the intention is an important part to look at too, because you can see, he used the example of his kids lying to get their way. And that's adolescence, and that's not the devil sneaking in and trying to steal somebody's heart. But the intention of lies is an important thing to understand too. Where's the lie coming from? Who's it coming from, and why? Right. So keep your eyes open to those things and what the lie that's being told to you is about and who it's from, because those are important.
Exactly.
Two is
Because yeah.
Hey, stop. You're gonna raise your hand or not? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. So you're scared. Yeah, so yeah, I love like what you say too about that too. Like I love like God like giving us like by the time our feelings through our notes. Actually, I bring my journal every day to write my notes, and thank God God's like gave me a blessing to write my notes and everything. But this week I just being back on the Bible app, and I was reading my stuff, and I really felt like God's giving me a good reasons why I'm here.
Good.
And I got baptized
I'm
last month. We know we are committed to with him. So yeah. Anyways,
I'm mute. I'm Amber. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, isn't it funny? Oftentimes the devil comes up, and the lies are mostly to ourselves, aren't they? I mean, we're being lied to all the time, obviously, by the media and by the powers that be and the government and this and that, but we still have free will. And so even if we were out in the woods living alone, trying to survive or whatnot, we are still just alone with our own narrative. And the devil can come up. You could be surrounded by absolutely not another human, and the devil can come up inside you and tell you a lie. And those are the things we tell ourselves. And we talked about this for over a year now, right? Just that we're not worthy, that we're not godlike, that we're not good enough, that all the things. And so that's what I'm always trying to deal with myself, is my narrative every single day.
I love that. That brings up one of his points about feeling like our hearts or our situation that we're currently in is too dark for God to get involved or pay attention to us. That sometimes we get so far down a path that we think, well, he wouldn't care about this. I've sinned too deeply to be cared about. So that's just untrue because the sin is not yours, right? It's a lie that's being told to you by someone, or like Amber just said and made a very good point. It's often the agreeance of the lie we tell ourselves. We have the free choice to believe something that's being told to us. And if we do, we're then telling ourselves to lie. And we already know right now that in psychology, when you tell your self-talk works, it works in an extreme way. And it's harder to positive self-talk yourself into a good situation than it is to negative self-talk yourself into a bad one. So if you're repeating the narrative that's being told you, the lie that's being told you, and you repeat it because you believe it, put in your own head, you're reinforcing that 100x. And now you are living that lie. So we have to be very careful about what we're listening to every day, what we truly believe, and then free choice of, okay, that's happening. Maybe that is a sin that's happening. It's just not mine though. It's not my sin. I'm not that. Right. And then most importantly, if we do get in those traps, because like I just told you, I fell right into it. The second I heard that news, I was devastated. So many things ran through my head of like shame and failure and what have I done? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I let him die without talking to him. I was planning on calling. All these things started flooding through my head. And it was what I was telling myself. Nobody called me and said anything like that. Nobody was like, dude, I can't believe you missed it, man. Nobody said that. It was like, wife let me know and I was there. And when I got there and I was in the presence of the other people that he touched and him and his family and all the things again, I realized immediately because I was awake that it's not mine to hold on to. And what I was thinking was a lie I was telling myself. We often do this heading into something big. We got a job interview coming up. A lot of times people will talk themselves out of winning that. We have a relationship or somebody we really like. We'll talk ourselves out of the reason why they wouldn't like us back. Right? This is the same thing we do with God. We talk ourselves out of the relationship that we could have with him. We talk ourselves out of the closest we can be with him. I've touched on this before about how we're no further away than Chad is, the pastor, to God, right? Like somebody's not closer. He's as close with everybody. He doesn't turn his back on anybody. He sees everything. He hears everything. He is always involved, and he's never not involved because you're sinning or because you're doing worse than somebody else. Because one, remember, we don't know what anybody's going through. There's a lot of surface stuff. We say, okay, I'm fine. We smile, tell our friends, okay. And we're home, we're going through some stuff. And that happens to everybody. The people we think are having, I heard some devastating news on top of that from a really, really good friend of mine that I watched my whole life, like not my whole life, 8 years I've known him. I watched this man model his children and his wife and his life and the way he was and the way he spoke and the morals he had. I watched him and I thought to myself, if I could live up to somebody like that, that'd be pretty cool. And he dropped casually on me that he just got divorced and his wife's been cheating on him forever after the funeral. So it was like my head like exploded because I had an image, an expectation of this man. And what I realized in the moment was things just happen, man. They're not happening to you. It's not your sin. It's not his fault. It's not his sin. It's not her fault. Things just happen, right? And if we just don't believe the lie that we're telling ourselves in that moment, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening to me. It must mean she's never loved me. What does our marriage mean? If we can get away from that lie, we can go on. We can keep creating. We can keep helping. We can be in service of ourselves first and foremost. Hold on one second, Crystal. Jason, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's when I say hi to your dad. I haven't seen him in a long time. I see him in the background. I'm glad you went over.
Here. Mike wants to say hi.
The video's
Hi,
on.
Mr. McKinnon.
Here.
We lost the picture.
Yeah, all right.
There you go. Don't touch the screen. Don't touch the screen.
Hey, hi. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? You still there?
Yeah, good to hear.
Lucky
you.
to turn that thing I got on. You see me now? Yeah,
There you are.
you still making motorhomes?
I'm done.
Hey.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done making them now, huh?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Where are you living? Jason said something about you moved to California or something?
Yeah, probably here in a few weeks, month.
Yeah, what part of California?
Like Southern California.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Listen,
Anyway.
it was good to see you, my man. Been a long
Yeah.
time.
Okay, you too.
So glad that
Bye-bye.
you're here with us, buddy.
Yeah, that's huge, Jason. I appreciate you. Listen, this is what just happened there is exactly how I started the story. I think as long as we're always going to run into the lies. We're always going to run into troubles in our lives. We think it's ours, or we're going to try to own it and talk ourselves down and put ourselves in a worse situation we need to. But I think the curve is these moments. I flew there. I recognized in the moment, it was like, hold on, it's not mine. That's a moment. It's recognizing that the lie is being told to me. Jason getting in his car is like, whoa, forget this. I'm driving down there. If we can grab them, that's the curve. We're just going to flatten the curve a little bit. So they're not big spikes of these highs and lows that are so heavy on our heart that we feel like that are so our fault, our sin, ours. Because that's not true. It's just not. Sins happen in life, and they're not to be held on to. They're to be repented for and move forward and do things away from it. Let's not repeat the same failure. Let's not repeat the sin. That's why there is failure, so I can get out of it and know how not to. So these things have to happen to us. And then once we know that they have to happen to us, no human gets around it. You know, everybody knows Chad. One of his daughters has, severe learning disability, and they've gone through a lot, right? Like a lot. They could have easily turned their backs to the church and everything they believed in and been like, why us? Right? But they didn't. They forged through. I mean, it's a choice we have every single day to keep our eyes open to why, and just know that the worst things about the things we think are just lies. Hold on a second. I got two of you. I don't know. I didn't see which one. Amber, are you muted or no? There you go.
Yeah, just to your point, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk again, but I just wanted to say, like, it's weird because back to, part of the whys and stuff, like why have we lost our parents? Why do we lose a good friend? Why is Ukraine happening? All the whys and things. And, part of that is the appreciation and the value and the lesson. A lesson doesn't last very long, whether it's the first thing we learned in second grade or the parables we learned through the Bible or something we learned in an adult relationship or whatnot. And, they're temporary moments, but the lessons, they last a lifetime, and the imprints last a lifetime. And it's not so much like, why couldn't it be longer, and why couldn't it be better, and why couldn't I have more time, or why didn't I tell him when he was here, or whatever it is. And of course, we all feel all those ways all the time, in a million ways. However, it's so much more, all of a sudden the value became so much more real and apparent to you, right? Like with Dave, or like even for us, when I think about our own growth since our parents have passed, and just who we have become, like in our interpersonal development because of that. And that again was a choice. We could go down a dark road and be like, F this and why us, and all the things. But it's like, wow, now I can actually sit down for a second, whether they're here or not, and think about the value of what that connection meant to me. And, for us walking and living the earth, we have to do that every single day. And we do in so many ways. And it's hard because there are so many people, and, we're trying to keep track of 7.5 billion people on a consciousness level, on a society level, but just the people we know. And but just keep touching people and keep loving people and keep saying what you can when you can, but don't have regrets, because the value is in the time that has already been spent.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Brandon, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, these new headphones are kind of weird, so I'm trying to get used to them. So like you were saying, why is this happening? I used to ask myself, why is this epilepsy happening to me? Why am I, getting fired from a job? And I had to go the other way and say, that's the wrong question I'm asking. What do I need to do to get over this hump? What can I do to improve in my life and stuff? Those are the questions that we really need to be asking instead of the whys, the
Amen.
whats.
I love that.
And that's all I gotta say.
That's a huge, listen, I love that you spoke up because that is your journey that, since I've known you, I've watched you kind of go through, and that's huge. That's a huge awareness stuff because that's truthfully it. It's not why, it is what, now what, right?
Yeah.
Now what? Because you're a different human now, man.
Yeah.
You're a different person because of all that.
Yeah.
So now the question is what?
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing.
You're welcome.
Crystal.
Well, as what you say about earlier, losing a father figure for you and stuff like that. I lost my okay. So I was in high school and everything. I heard this bad news. Like I was in our class, my period of our class, and I heard that my mother figure, her name is Sharon, and I lost her. Like I thought I was like hoping like she's still here, she's still better and everything. She told me she was fine. After that, I was super crying in my life, and I still remember her. I was still remembering her name in my heart forever. Like she learned me so many good things, and she called me like one time, and this is making me so happy. Like call me crystal clear, though. But anyways, like I thought she was better and everything else, and we lost a good staff member, aka my mother figure ever, and like everything, like I like why, like I was like told God like this, like back in my day. I told God, why is this happening to me? Why God like put me in this good position, but it's like a life position, like everything, but like God's like give me good reasons why we are in disconnected, why we are here to like learn about God, space our sin through right now, or people having lives break it to them and everything, like people having hard days, maybe have bad relationship, and then say it's all good, but in their perfect sense, we now know about who's lying who about the relationship, because I was in a really toxic situation with my ex fiance at the time.
Yep.
That it was broken into me because I felt like infidelity issues happened, and I found out I know your friend got bad divorce, and I was like, oh my God, I almost feel me, but I'm not married. I was engaged. And
Listen,
it's like really hard.
we talk about what matters to people in different ways all the time, and it doesn't matter if we're in a relationship.
I feel like I heard from a lie, and then the lie hit me, and I was like, what I'm doing here? And then now I'm good person in my heart, and now I'm in a really good relationship with my new fiance, and
Amazing.
it's really good. And so
Listen, this is this is the whole thing we talk about all the time is the things that are happening for us, not to us. It's always that. It's the question of what next. Like Brandon just said, it's not why did it happen to me, but okay, it's happened. It's happened for me. Now, what am I going to do about it? Who am I going to become? What can I become? What was the purpose of it happening so that I can do something? There's always a message in that. I always believed for a long time, it took me a long time because I lost so many people in our family, in my life. It took me a long time to get over the fact, like, you know, all my friends still had their parents and all, they were still going to holidays and their grandparents, grandpa. I was just like, how did I lose everybody so fast? And people are still, and I was always asking, like Brandon, I was asking why. When I realized it had nothing to do with why it happened, because I would never get that answer. Nobody gets that answer. It's why did it happen? The true answer was because I'm supposed to do something about it. God doesn't give anybody too much trouble that they can't handle. He gives you enough that he knows you can handle. Sometimes when you're going through what you think is unbelievable and so tragic, or a lot of pain, or just one after others compounding, like this job or that job or this relationship, I can't hold down that, financial problems. And you know what that feels like when things come in a storm, they come together, right? And they start to mash up and become this hurricane of events. And you're like, how is this all happening at once to me? And it's not happening to you. It's showing you how capable you are. And he doesn't give that to everybody. He gives that to the people he knows are strong enough to be capable to do something about what's happening. That's how he forges leaders in this world. That's how he forges greatness. He forges upon people that he knows, he has a confidence of, that he had a plan already for. He already knew all that was going to happen. You got crushed because you had different expectations of what your life was or what you think it should be by others. But trust me, he has a plan. He knows, he witnesses, he sees all, he understands what's happening and what's going to happen for you. The only thing that we have to do is reach out and accept it. It's given to us, right? On purpose. It just looks bad sometimes. You know, when you lose somebody at death, it looks bad. It's just not. It's just clearly not. I've learned it too many times over and over. And again, this past weekend. And seeing somebody leave so much behind with so many people was my moment, because I knew him to be that person. I bragged about him all the time. I told the stories all the time. I told him that he pushed me to levels that I didn't want to go to. He pushed me to parts of me that I didn't know I was. He even when I was like, no, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. He put me in a spot that challenged me and gave me a stupid smirk. Like, I already know you can do it. You know, and that right there, that seeing that, having somebody witness you is the most incredible thing on this planet Earth. I think we all don't get that enough from people around us. We don't get witnessed by them and told enough by people around us how credible we are, how amazing we are, how special we are, how capable we are. And sometimes that's because we surround ourselves with people that can't do that for us. And that's us telling a lie again. Surround yourself with people that won't do that for you. And that's you telling yourself a lie about yourself. You're building a force field that is saving you from getting praise that you deserve. Right? We do that a lot when we're in a bad space. We surround ourselves with people that block a wall for that praise to come in. So it's easier for us to stay in that hole. And it's just not true. It's not. We need more people, one, leaning into your life and texting you and calling you and telling you and saying and witnessing you and saying, dude, great dude. You're an awesome chick. You're so talented. Dude, I love hearing your things. I love seeing that. I love when you speak. And then reciprocating that to people. You know, like, it doesn't take much to throw it out, but it means a shit ton. A crap ton. Sorry, no swearing this week. Is shit really a word though? Is that a swear word? I don't think so. It's a mild. But the point is, I'm trying to get caught. I swear when I'm passionate. I swear a lot. I swear when I'm passionate. It's because this to me is the most important. It creates the energy in our hearts and our minds. It creates the day we have. It creates the week we have. Everything's about what we receive. We got to receive better from people. Yeah, let them in and let them say the things they want to say about you, the greatness. We got to give out even more because all that's reciprocated. And it makes a difference. It helps us not live in the lie that's being told to us, helps us not be taken down by the devil because we have people, we have warriors, we can fight back. We're not alone in our feeling. When you get alone in your feeling, you're weak. He comes after the weak. You got a group like this, he ain't coming here. He ain't showing up to the Zoom. I'll mute his ass. But I'll mute his butt. You know, if the devil wants to raise a digital hand, I ain't talking in this group. So we have a choice. It's who we surround ourselves in. These people right here, I love all you guys. I tell you every week. I think you're amazing people. Like I've grown with a lot of you, and I've been in different situations since this thing started. And for me, it's a reflection in a mirror. Growth is a reflection. To be witnessing other people grow in front of your eyes is a reflection in the mirror of the greatness that you truly are. Right? We're about each other. I'm not leading this group. I'm being pushed by you guys to speak. I'm not leading this group. I'm not the leader. We are a group of equal people, have the same closest relationship to God, going through the same things in life. The only difference is we can help each other move through the difficult times, through the lows, and change that curve from pitches down to just smooth lows and high highs. And as long as we keep on rejecting the lies that are being told to us and practice on the words that we tell to ourselves in our head, dude, we're good. Nobody can get in. You know, we're good. We got that adrenaline feeling. Amber has touched on something about the highs and low portion. I think it's important to understand that met expectations is a short-lived moment. The thing we have set in our mind and our goal we want to reach after, if I can just make this much money this year, if I can just have this job, if I can get this promotion, I'll be happy. If I can get this car, if I can get this apartment, if I can get this relationship, all these expectations that we think matter or they think have so much weight to them in our total life here on this planet Earth just don't, because when we hit them, the moment of exceeded expectation is freaking tiny. And you know what you do when you get it? You replace it with something else. That's what we do. So stop putting so much weight on these things. Put weight on your heart, right? If you feel something, say it. Say it out loud. It could be an empty room with yourself. If you feel something about somebody, say it. Doesn't have to be always be good, you know? Don't ever get after somebody in a hurtful way, but it doesn't always have to be praise. It could just be a truthful moment. The truth heals everything. You can't have love for another person if you're not willing to share truth with them. You can't have a relationship, a close relationship with God if you're not willing to tell him the truth in your own head. Right? This is the important part, I think. I thought I could lie to God for many years of my life. When I went away from the church, I thought I could, like, well, if I don't believe in that stuff, well, then he can't hear, you know, I can do whatever I want here. I just, you know, block it off. And that's just not true. You know, he sees all, he hears all, like you were talking about in the message. You can't tell the lies to yourself because it's just lies. It is the devil penetrating your heart and poisoning it. The truth is really all there is. Try it. Say it out loud in a room. Yell it in a room one time. Tell a truth that you've never told anybody when nobody's around. Yell it in the room. Promise you, your shoulders will sit down and you'll feel a weight, a little bit of a weight come off your neck. Because saying it out loud, even if nobody's listening, means that you can at least say it out of your mouth, which is the hardest part. We carry this weight of lies all the time that just builds thorns around this heart and just builds so much tension and anxiety in our hearts and our souls. And if we can find the people we're okay with saying it to, that we're okay with sharing it with, that I can say my truth to and not feel attacked, dude, we wouldn't need masseuses. We walking around all of jelly. Everybody be walking around jelly, feeling great every day, bouncing on high. So, man, find the one person, then find the second person, then find the third, and find a group of them. Find a tribe of them, but find a person that you are willing to tell everything to all the time. You know, and I had that with my mom. And when I lost her, I tucked it back away, and I shouldn't have. I tucked away for a long time, because I thought that was only for her. I thought that sanctity of my truth was only meant for her ears, and that she was gone, that I wasn't going to ever share it again. But it's just not the way. It builds up this disease inside your body. It builds up this hurt and lie that it's not yours to hang on to. We're supposed to live a truthful life, and that truth is supposed to be wide open. You know, we shouldn't be hiding from each other. When we witness each other, I've learned a massive amount of stuff from all you guys, because I've witnessed you guys, you sharing, being vulnerable, and telling the truth about your lives and what you're going through, and what's good and bad. That's massive, man. Helps me every day. Amber, speak on it. Oops, sorry, I think I muted you. Oops. There you go.
It's funny that you just went into witnessing, because I had the thought before you even went, in that total direction. And what I was thinking originally was, back to the earlier conversation, just like, okay, so Jesus was 32 years old, and he stoically walked carrying the cross he would be hung on through the crowd, so that people could see through the illusion and the veil. And it's funny, it took like another, like, however many thousand years for us to still realize that he was showing us the illusion of the gravity of this life, that, we're here to witness. Without witness, we don't even exist. If nobody knows how we feel, then it didn't even matter to anyone but us. And the 12 apostles that Jesus confided in then become the 77 that becomes all of us, all these thousands, years later. So it is so important to just say what's on your heart and share what's on your heart with love, and to also know that Jesus knew that even at 32 years old, he had to leave us, even though he was one of the greatest gifts we've ever known on earth, so that we could realize just how important his message was. It's, again, back to, it's not about the time, it's about the quality. And so, yeah, I love all that.
For sure. I'm gonna unmute you here. Real quick, Amber, that's a massive thing you just said there. That's huge. Is if we don't tell anybody, what does it matter?
Right.
That's huge. If we never say it out loud and you didn't do anything, good or bad, nobody even knew about it, well, what did you matter? And that's why he walked with the crowd. So that was huge, powerful. That was great. Portia, hit the mic.
I love that he talked about truth is freedom, because I think that when I hear truth, it's like when we're living in truth, we're living in that alignment of who God created us to be. And like, that's what Jesus did, right? He lived in the truth. And I think that's when we're saying, I'm living passionately, I'm living with intention, I'm living on purpose, and I'm not just existing here, right? And we're allowed to follow what we believe in. And when we declare that with conviction, and when we follow and we speak that, and what we speak, what we're passionate about and what we believe about, we are raising our own frequency. And when we raise our own frequency, we attract more, and we attract that of a higher frequency to us, right? And that's how, when we can speak in that truth, no matter how messy it gets, it still puts us into the alignment of the way of God, because everything here is energy, right? Everything comes back to the frequency. And so I think when we can walk in the truth, it becomes much easier to wake up in the morning in this rejoicing with this high spirit of, when we realize that we are this walking conduit of spirit, when we realize like we are walking with God and he is never not with us, no matter what it looks like in this life, no matter what season we are in. It's not about this personal little you, right? It's in this achieving in this external universe. Like, it's so much more, because we are so much more. And like, it's this big version of us, like this soul version of us. And so it's always going to be up to us. And so like, we always talk about, it's the choices that we get to make, right? And everything that we do, every skill, every capacity, every ability we have is literally our soul demonstrating its activity and its capabilities to us, right? And it's a top-down meaning. And so we operate from a soul level to this mind level, or this mental plane, into the physical world, right? And a lot of times I think we create the resistance when we think that we're going to create from the 3D world without God. And so that's, I know we talk about that a lot with Chad, and he's like, you can't walk without God, right? And so when you're trying to create something, that's when the fear and the doubt and the anxiety and the judgment come in, when you don't allow God to come in, right? And so you had said yesterday in the chat, sync all of your clocks to his watch and see your life free of stress, anxiety, burden, pressure, and all of the things, right? And that's when you're free. That's when you've surrendered. And that's like, truth is the opposite of resistance. Truth is when we no longer are in our own way. And that's the way I always like look at it. It's like, okay, I'm trusting in God and I'm trusting in myself, and I'm trusting that everything is working out for my highest good. And to know that God will get us through whatever we are going through. And like, it no longer becomes about what am I trying to get or what do I want? Things are, I'm attracted to things now, because that's like the way, like, because it's an infinite knowing that life is always abundant in all ways, always, right? And like Chad always says, mess to message, test to testimony, and pain to platform, because God will never not deliver, no matter the darkness to the light, right? Like, it's all the same thing. And it's like, we're never not going to be able to get out of it. And I love how Brandon said when he stopped asking the whys, he asked the what, like, what am I doing here? And what can I do with this, right? Because that's where our truth lies. It's like, okay, so I came here to experience this, and now what can I do? And how can I change this? And how can I create it into something different and make it actually have a meaning to it, right? And so like, when we know that, like, there's nothing that we can never not get through. And like, the ROI of that is living in this prosperity and freedom and peace and joy and love and like all of the things, right? And it's no longer, are we living in this struggle of we're trying to like go upstream? We're just flowing on the stream, right?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Salmon. It's funny that you brought up the watch thing, because it just now when you said it that I wrote that. I'm thinking I think subconsciously why I never set my watches. I don't have a watch. I have a million watches. I don't have one that's ever been set. I don't know why. I never, maybe, I don't know.
Because you're on God's time.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Right.
Or I'm just late for everything. Hey, listen, Holden, anything you want to share? Anything on your mind, my man?
I'm just kind of soaking it in right now.
All good.
There's like, there have been a lot of things that have happened to me in my life where I've resorted back to like questioning, why is this happening to me? But fortunately, I do have a few good people who, like you mentioned before, who, even though during seasons of my life I didn't want to hear it, they did remind me that there was that I am, and there are parts of me that that do have worth. And I think that sometimes it takes time, even like to just live out the experience to understand that even though we're being told truths by external forces, that we're being told lies by external forces, that there is a truth within us. But sometimes it takes time to kind of unfold that and unpack it. So it's a process, and it's another thing too, like you said, become part of a group. Sometimes it takes becoming a part of a bigger collective to remind you that the weight of what you're experiencing isn't just singular. It's kind of something that's happening as a collective. That you have a community that you don't have to bear all the weight on your own. And that's something special about like what we're going through now. But yeah, there is, you said earlier, like it takes time. Time is what's required to heal. So just giving yourself that allowance, or giving yourself that time in the moment when things hurt so bad, It's hard to afford yourself that. But you just keep praying and keep fighting.
Yeah.
That's what makes everything worth it. But yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for sharing that. You said some big stuff there. I think it's super important for everybody to know and hear. Again, it's when you have some good people, you're not telling you things. It's not always easy just to accept it. And I'm somebody that struggled with that my whole life. My sister can attest, but I've had a fortunate to have a lot of people, good people that pepper me with really good stuff in my life. But I just didn't feel like it was mine.
Mhm.
It felt ingenuine, and I knew it wasn't because it was coming from people that I knew had my best interest. But it felt ingenuine because the whole time I never believed it.
Yep.
So it felt like I was a stranger to that message. It felt like the text wasn't coming through to me, the call wasn't, the voicemail wasn't. So I'm so happy you shared that before you got off, because it's a big deal, not just to get people surrounding you that care about you, but to be able to actually receive it and go, that's right, that is me. Because that truly is the hardest part, man. And it does take some time to unpack. It does sometimes take a process to learn it, but I think you touched on the second part of when you find a group of people to keep reinforcing that, it only takes a decision in a moment, and more people can recognize you, that you can truly accept a message in the moment and go, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? I am the best. I am that. I am the things that they're saying. So I'm super glad you touched that. It hit a heartstring in me, because that's a massive struggle I dealt with for 20 some years of my life.
I gotta squeak in there and just say, hold it. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
You know,
How's that?
hey, dude, it's so awesome that you're here with us, and I'm so glad that you shared. And I'm his sister. I'm pretty lucky because he's my brother. But you guys are all family, and the only thing you've missed so far is that you're exactly where you need to be, because the fact that you even showed up on this particular group of the 7.5 billion people in the world means that we're all parts of you. And if you liked anything that you heard tonight, then you must like some part of you, buddy.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the law of attraction is working, and you're right where you need to be. And we're just so super happy that you're here. So thanks for sharing, and God bless.
Thanks for having me. God bless you.
I love that. I love that. And I love all you guys. Super, super appreciative of all you always. Man, I thought about you guys all week. Like I said, not doing last week was heavy on my heart, but like the stuff I learned in that week, I really did think about this group and what it means to me. By missing it helped me through what I had to go through, because I know what this group means to me and my growth and my experience. And what it did was exactly what Holden closed out with. It proved to me in the moment that I just lied to myself. I am good enough. I did the right things. I stood by this dude. I didn't need to call him before he died. I didn't know he was that. Like, I'm not lost in my growth. It was just something that happened. And then when I was there, I was like, holy cow, it's happening at the right time. I wasn't even supposed to be on the West Coast when it happened. I would have missed it. Like, just that small thing alone, that I was able to just turn a flight from Denver and go to it, is a big deal. So, I'm dude, huge. I'm glad you spoke up, because it's a huge end to a great session. Portia, you want to make something quick?
I just want to say that to remind you that it's okay to surrender and to trust, because what's meant for you will never pass you by. What God has for you, you don't have to live in resistance to finding it, right? Because it will find you.
Love it. I love that. I love all you guys. Listen.
Love you all.
Reject the lie. Reject it all week. We're all the best. We're the best human beings we know. Let's spread it to all the rest of the human beings we know. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
See you guys.